Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back, guys. We are here to have a little roundtable discussion. I'm hoping that we get more than 2 or 3 people on tonight, but if not, it's all good. Whoever is here is definitely going to hold you guys down. It's been a while, guys. We want to thank you guys for bearing with us and being patient. All right. The Niners have come a long way, guys. The team already has 11 wins under the belt. There are 3 losses right now, and these next 2 games seem to be very important. We're going to discuss the past. We're going to discuss the team going forward as well. But before we get to any of that good stuff, you have to go through the formalities, guys. If this is your first time here on the YouTube page, we want to thank you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button. It's very important to let other people know how they can find us. It'll show up in the algorithms, okay? Make sure you guys hit the subscribe buttons. You're going to do that for yourselves, okay? That's going to let you know every time we go live. But if you hit the notification button, it'll let you know ahead of time and as soon as we go live for impromptu videos that don't give you the heads up, okay? Subscription just let you know all the videos that we do. But when you turn on your notifications, that little bell lets you know exactly when we go live and when we're going live, okay? Guys, make sure you check out the Facebook as well as the Instagram page. That is Nothing But Niners. That is spelled all the way out, all right? Facebook and Instagram. The Instagram page is jumping over there. The Facebook group is over almost 13,000, might be over now. So don't be the last person to join over there. If you're on Facebook, that is the place to be. Game day is a lot of fun, a lot of interaction over there, okay? Hit us up on Twitter and Snapchat as well. Those handles are nothing but the number 9 ERS. Again, that is nothing but 9 ERS. That is Twitter and Snapchat. I don't know anything about Snapchat, but I do know about Twitter, and that is my way of communicating with everybody. So make sure you hit us up over there as well. If you forget all the stuff I just told you, have no fear. We have one stop shop for you. That is nothingbutniners.com. It is the website, guys. It is spelled all the way out. No numbers in there, no spaces in between. It's www.nothingbutniners.com. You're going to see our podcast. You're going to see our articles. You'll see these videos. You're going to see a page dedicated just to the fans for all of the things that you guys do on game day. You got some cool bottles that you want to show off? Take pictures with them. Put them out there. Send them to us, okay? You can send all that stuff to us at the email. It is nb9ers at nothingbutniners.com, okay? You're going to see all that stuff over there. Again, that email is nb9ers at nothingbutniners.com, okay? Questions, comments, concerns, like I said, the pictures, send them all over there to us, guys. And you guys already know the deal. You know who I am already. I am your boy, 49ers Mike _NFL. You guys can give me a follow over there on Twitter. I got my man Nick back in the groove over here. What's going on, Nick?
Bang, bang, not a gang. What's going on?
He is 49er Faithful 365 all day, every day. Make sure you guys give him a follow. And then my man Tony is in the building too. NJ Niner Fan 499. What up, Tony?
What is up, man? We got to talk about this very important 2-game stretch tonight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, you know, a lot of stuff has been going on, fellas, man, and a lot of people are panicking about the Niners. They don't like what they're seeing from the defense. They don't like what they're seeing from the offense. Kyle Shanahan lost his nerve and all that. Let's take a couple of seconds to reflect on the last couple of games, guys. All right? People keep referring to it as a gauntlet. I don't like that, but whatever. You can refer to it as whatever it is that you want. All right? These last 4 games, not just the last 3, these last 4 games, the Niners have been on opposite sides of the spectrum in a couple of these things. You got 2 games where the offense can't really seem to get things going. That's Baltimore and this last game against the Falcons. And then you have another 2 games where the offense seems like they're unstoppable, and that's the Packers and that's the Saints. Where do you guys think the 49ers overall fall on the spectrum here? Let's start with Nick because he's the man in the middle here, and then we'll go with Tony. Where do you think the 49ers offense, we're going to focus on the offense at first. Where do they really fall in this spectrum? Are they all the way at the top like we think they are, or are they a team that's going to start to struggle as the season goes on? There's all the film out on the Niners. What do you think it is, man?
I think there's somewhere in the top 15-ish. I wouldn't say completely the middle, maybe a little higher. The only reason I say that is because I don't think we've really seen this offense other than the New Orleans game. And what I mean by that is, yes, we scored a lot of points and, you know, we drove down the field, you know, on some big plays in New Orleans. But last week in Atlanta, we did that 21-play drive and scored. And you've seen a little bit more. And obviously that was helped out a lot with penalties as well. But I don't think we've really seen this. I think this offense is really inconsistent. And the reason I'm going to stick with maybe, you know, top 15, maybe top 13, maybe closer to the middle of the pack somewhere. But the inconsistency is just too much with this Niners offense. You know, one week you get a ton of points. The next week you're struggling to score 20. You know, and it goes – obviously that has to do with defenses as well. What type of defense you're facing, how they are, but the receivers, the running backs, you know, the changing of running backs, between Tevin Coleman, Mostert, Breida. You're getting something different from all of them. The inconsistency as in who you're utilizing, as in who Kyle Shanahan is utilizing. The receivers have had a up and down season, I would say, whether it be drops, whether it be, just miscommunication, whether it be just not catching the football or being able to come up with those big plays, right? So the third downs and the fourth downs. I think we're better on third downs. Obviously, we've been half decent on fourth downs, but overall, I think there's just a little bit of inconsistency. Same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo's up and down. So I would put him somewhere around, in between that 10 to 15 range because of inconsistency. Tony?
Yeah, so Nick's got us in the 10 to 15 range there, and then that kind of makes a little sense, and it's almost on par with where the offense is doing. I mean, I think the offense is still top 10 as far as yards and points. I think they're in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken, as far as points scored. But that doesn't mean that's how we feel, and that's what we're talking about. So I see what Nick is saying between that 10 to 15 range. What are your thoughts on it all, Tony?
I think, my opinion is you saw what this team could do when they needed to. When they knew it was a big situation, we went into New Orleans, and we went blow for blow with New Orleans. So that shows me that they are able to do it when they want to, or maybe need to, is the better way to say it. I feel I watched maybe the first almost 3 quarters of this replay versus the Falcons, and I was very confused because it seemed like Kyle wanted to go basic and vanilla. Then he tried to do a couple things and get pretty with a couple jet sweep motions and stuff like that. And then he went back down to being vanilla. So it looked like Jimmy wanted to go. He wanted to start getting that ball going, but Kyle wasn't calling the plays. Now, for the reason, I don't know. I mean, we all talked about it. We pretty much discussed that, he wanted to try to get that W and get out of that game with minimal injuries, if not any, which they did, knock on wood. But I think this team has the potential to be a top 10 offense, but I understand what the people thinking, what they just saw versus Atlanta. They're kind of like, whoa, maybe they're not as good as we're making them be. I think during this stretch, I think they're going to come out basic. I mean, not basic. I think they're going to come out maybe 50% aggressive versus the Rams. If they need to, he'll put the foot on the gas. But I think Kyle's mentality has to switch right now. And he's got to play and call a game with his back against the wall, because we're getting to the part of the season where it's win or go home. If we don't win out or we don't win in Seattle, we play a game the following week and we're going to be in Dallas or Philly. So I think you're going to see him start switching things. I don't think he's going to open up the playbook, but I think he's going to be aggressive in his play calling. My honest opinion, this offense definitely is a top 10 offense if they want it to be, if Kyle wants it to be. So I mean, listen, unfortunately I got to work Saturday, but it's going to be interesting to see how he comes out and how they look. I can tell you this from what I've been reading and hearing on podcasts, that team in that locker room after that game, everyone was pissed. There was a lot of yelling, screaming, all these reporters were saying. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out.
So what's your overall? I mean, you said a lot there, but I still don't not so much a ranking. Are you confident in this team? If we had to get into a shootout with anybody, are you confident?
I think so. Yeah, I'm confident because they showed it. They played what I think the defense with the Saints is a top 5 defense or top.
I know they were top 10. I don't.
All right, so maybe we'll call it a top 8 defense. Just give him the benefit of the doubt, but they went blow for blow. And I mean, I know Kyle had to dig deep in the playbook, but they showed the ability to answer every play, every scoring touchdown by the Saints. They came right back, and that's even with Jimmy throwing an interception. They still, won that game. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm confident in this offense.
All right. I mean, and that's pretty cool. When I step back and I look at this team, I always try to take away the fact of the win or the loss to see how I feel about them, right? Like it's almost like if you judge them because we lost, it's not good. If you look at the Ravens game and you ignore the outcome, the Niners played a pretty good game against a really good team, right? If you look at this Falcons game, I feel almost the exact opposite. I feel like we should have been able to stop them on defense, and we should have been able to do more on offense. I don't care that we lost that game. I don't care if we had won that game. If they had stopped Julio, I still would have been disappointed that it came down to it being as close as it was. When it comes to the offense in particular, I am extremely confident in it. And I think what Kyle Shanahan has fallen in a trap to this season in particular is trusting his defense to do the dirty work. I feel like Kyle of last year or the year before, with the offensive power that we have, he would have been more aggressive in these games to try to not put it on the defense. Where if you look at the two losses that we have here with the Falcons and the
Seahawks,
the Ravens, and even the Seahawks, all three of them, right? All three of those games, it came down to the last possession. Kyle didn't play the whole, I need to keep the ball in my hands as long as I have to because I don't want to put the defense out here. I felt like he could be a little more conservative because he trusted that this new defense that we have, this new top 5 defense, this shiny new toy that the Niners have, Kyle Shanahan has so much faith in them that if I can try this, I can be safe. And if it doesn't work, the defense can bail me out. I think it's a different mentality. When it's time to go out there, like Tony said, against a team like the Saints, and it's time to go toe-to-toe, blow for blow, he did it. Even a high-scoring game, a high-scoring opponent like the Ravens, right? What did he do on that first 4th and 1 or 4th and 2? That bombed the Debo down the field, right? He knows that he can pull these triggers whenever he wants to, but it's just a matter of when he decides he wants to do it. So am I confident in this offense? Yes, very confident. In fact, when you look at this Falcons game, it took, in my opinion, everything going wrong for us to put up the points that we did. I felt like the Niners shorted themselves a ton of points in this game. There were a lot of opportunities that they just flat out didn't take advantage of. Jimmy got back to not seeing the entire field again. He got kittleized throughout the entire game. And even Shanahan said, a lot of times George is our first option in a play, but he's usually doubled or they usually try to take him out right away. He says, when I was calling the plays, it didn't seem like it was called to go to him as much as it was. And then when I watched the film, I was like, wow, like they really, you know what I'm saying? Like even Shanahan felt like it was a little too much Kittle in that game, right? And so it took everything breaking the wrong way for us to almost win a game. I think that when they go ahead and shake the dust off and they say, hey, guys, let's get back to playing football. Let's let Kyle Shanahan coach as if there is no defense. I have to score every possession. I think he can do that. Not saying that he can score every possession, but it's a different brand of 49ers offense. And then let Shanahan on the flip side, we haven't talked about the defense, but let's transition to it. Let Saleh worry about as if he needs to have a top 5 defense. I was listening to the presser that Saleh did today. Well, I was listening to it today. I think it was from yesterday, though, where he said that he kind of feels like they almost spoiled people with that historically good defense the first 8 or 9 weeks of the season. They were historically good, right? So he transitioned saying, there's going to be some ebbs and flows, that we're going to come down a little bit. That was such a high pace. It's really hard to maintain that. And history told us that. Now, all the people who track this stuff, all the advanced stats and the metrics and all that, they all suggested the same exact thing, that, you're way up here right now, but it's really not likely to be sustainable for an entire season. And we see the Niners coming down a little bit. We're blaming it on attrition. We're blaming it on injuries and things like that. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this now. So we talked about the offense and what we feel based off of these last couple of games, Seahawks included, right? What do you guys think about this defense? Because the defense, you shut down Aaron Rodgers, but then you turn around and let Drew Brees and that offense put up almost 50 points on you. You see the Ravens, and in the situations where you have to get a stop, they don't do it. They haven't done it. The games that the Niners win, they usually win them by a large margin. But the games that are close, the defense can't seem to bail us out. Let's do it backwards. Let's go with Tony and then go back to Nick. Are you concerned about this defense not being clutch?
I'm concerned about I'm really concerned about this defense, and it's amazing how all these injuries stacked up. We went into the season what our strongest point of this team was our defensive line, and now it slowly became our weakest point for depth purposes, not our base four, but the depth on this line. It's very scary and it's very concerning, and I think that is why this defense is really took a step or possibly two back. I understand we had injuries with Sherman. I understand we lost Akello early in the season. We lost Quan, but we lost those guys and we still produced at a high level. Now we lost Blair, DJ Jones, Demontre Moore, and the guys that they brought up for the defensive line. Well, the main guy that I'm going to really touch on right now, he's not getting it done. And I know he played lights, and this is not a knock against him, okay? This guy was a practice squad guy. He was the 53rd or 52nd man on the roster when he was on at 53. Valoga, he played he had 5-6 sacks in preseason, but he's not getting it done in the role that Moore did and the way Blair did. And that's why I think this defense is really struggling. I mean, I saw in the game when I watched the replay, Bosa was dead. There was points in the game where he just couldn't, and you can't blame the kid because the snap count is through the roof. But I'm really looking forward to see. I mean, we know what happened last week. They attacked the guys that were out. They attacked our nickel, our slot guy. They attacked the strong safety. They attacked Mosley, but I think Mosley, after watching that, played a pretty damn good game, in my opinion. He made plays on the ball versus Julio. In run support, he was pretty damn good. But it's just really concerning. I want to see how this defense looks versus the Rams with Sherman Quan back. Everyone, like even myself in the beginning of the season, I thought Quan was going to be on a teeter-totter of being on the roster. But damn, this guy's a big piece to this defense playing that nickel corner. And everyone's saying Sherman. Sherman's huge. Sherman gets all these guys in check. He communicates on the back end of the defense. He lines them up when they're wrong. And clearly they missed that last week and that style of play. But there are some things, I mean, I don't know if you want me to touch on this, Mike, like concerns I saw with our defense versus Atlanta, and they got exposed pretty damn good. And they've been exposed the last couple games. You want me to get into this or no? Okay. All right. Well,
we'll come back. We'll come back to specifics later on. I just want really broad. All
right. The injuries is my concern, and the players that are coming in on our defensive line is what's concerning me. I'll stop talking for now. Nick, go ahead, and I'll touch on the other things later.
I agree with you to a point that the weak link is this defensive line. But if you go back to the last 2 or 3 games, I think the weak point is the secondary. And the pressure's getting there. The combinations are getting there. Obviously, we're not getting the sacks with the defensive line that we were getting before. But if you go back 6-7 weeks, we still weren't getting those pressures and sacks totally. You could go back 4 weeks from now. But you touched on the one guy that I think is a huge difference is K'Wan Williams and Tart being out, Sherman being out. The guys that are out there are not good in coverage. They're not. Like the guys that have been playing, other than Mosley, obviously, but the guys that are across the middle, when you have DJ Reed out there, I don't think DJ Reed is really good in coverage. I don't think Azeez Al-Shaair is really good in coverage. I think Fred Warner is decent in coverage, but he's also not, like lock you up type of. He's not a corner, obviously. He's a linebacker, so he's good for his position. But you look at the slot position. You look at the receivers that have been killing us in these pressure situations where the quarterback can get rid of the football. Marcel Harris, he had a better game this week than he did the week prior. I'll give that to him. But DJ Reed gets eaten up. Azeez Al-Shaair has been getting eaten up. Marcel Harris has been getting eaten up. Emmanuel Mosley has made some really good plays, and he's also had some really silly mental mistakes. But for the most part, I can't crack on Emmanuel Mosley because he's been playing well. But these other three guys are big parts. And if you look at Julio Jones, where was he getting most of his catches from this week? Most of them came from the slot position. Out of all the balls that he caught, most of them came from him playing the slot in the nickel down. And you had DJ Reed, obviously Marcel Harris as well a little bit. And I think the pressure is still getting there from the defensive line. And yes, it's a weak link, like you said, because of depth. Obviously, losing D Ford, even though he doesn't play a ton, is still a big factor. For the people that say, oh, we don't really need D Ford, you're completely crazy because you still need D Ford. This defense is set up for D Ford and Nick Bosa, and that's how the defense is set up. And obviously, everything in between. You're getting good play out of Eric Armstead. You're getting good play out of DeForest Buckner. But then you lose Sheldon Day. Or DJ Jones, and you get Sheldon Day. Huge difference between DJ Jones and Sheldon Day. Huge. That's a big drop-off. Solomon Thomas and Sheldon and DJ Jones. Huge drop-off. Right? Then you get Eric Armstead playing the outside and coming inside. And, yeah, he got snubbed on the Pro Bowl this year. He's having a pretty decent season. But he also has to play more, so he's not as fresh. So, to me, I think the key pieces that are missing in the secondary between Jaquiski Tart, K'Wan Williams, and Richard Sherman, I'm not going to – actually, I won't even say Richard Sherman because I think Emmanuel Mosley has played well enough to say I'm not too worried about Emmanuel Mosley. But I am worried about Marcel Harris taking over for Tart. I am worried about DJ Reed taking over for K'Wan Williams because K'Wan Williams is a lights-out nickel corner. Like, I've always said this. I've always liked K'Wan. I think me and Mike even talked about it, is anything in front of him he's really good at. If they get behind him, he's going to make the tackle, but he's a little less more worthy in coverage once something gets past him compared to keeping things in front of him. But he does that job well. Whether they're bigger receivers, little receivers, whatever they are, he does a good job of doing that. So I'm going to say the weakness for me right now is the key pieces that are out in the secondary because quarterbacks are getting the ball off a lot faster, and I understand that makes a huge difference as well. But getting the ball off fast or there were times Julio Jones had time, obviously. When you have the more time, they're going to eat you up no matter who you are because that's the way offense runs. But I'm more worried about K'Wan Williams and thankful that he's coming back, and I think we'll see a big step in this defense. And it's not only play. This is communication. You could tell there was a lot of communication problems with this game in Atlanta. You could tell there was communication problems in New Orleans. And those are key pieces that know where they're going, who they're rolling with, if they're rolling over top, if they're staying down. You could see them pointing out to players on the field saying, you got to come up here and take this guy and go that way with him. Like, you literally seen that because there was points in this Atlanta game where I'm looking and I'm like, nobody's covering dude. And then somebody would come down and finally cover him after Fred Warner was like, yo, like, communication. So I think communication is a big part of how we've seen this team being played on defense as well. And I think that's because you're losing that leadership.
Yeah, the defense, you guys have both touched on a lot of really good things here. The defense, I think the defense is good. I think the defense is really good. And not to say that they're perfect, because there's a big difference. Let me make it clear here. There's a lot of things that this defense can improve on, right? And so I saw a lot of good in all of the bad games this defense has played. Okay? I see a lot of good. I see the young guys stepping into roles that without hesitation. We talked about the Marcel Harris. I saw improvements in him from one week to the next week. We talked about Mosley. Mosley has played at a high level all year long, but here comes Julio. This isn't just some guy that came in. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a lot of people think is the best wide receiver in the NFL. So there's a little bit of a wake up call. This is a former NFL MVP and Matt Ryan. You let these guys hang around a really, really long time. That's why I think a lot of this loss is on the offense. You got to finish. You have to get in the end zone. You have to put up the points. The defense's job is to stop them from putting up points. They did that for a large majority of this game. The offense just got stagnant towards the end of it. But when it comes to the defense, I think we're a good defense. I think we're a better than good defense. I think what we saw these last couple of games is what the Niners defense was last year. And that's before they got their two bookends that Nick touched on, and Ford and Bosa. It was before they got the consistent and effective pass rush. It's funny because last year and the year before, all we heard was the Niners get pressures. The Niners get pressures. PFF told us that they get a lot of pressure. The sacks will eventually come, right? That's all they kept saying. And I would come on here and I would beat this drum that, yeah, pressures is a real thing, but it's about when pressure occurs, right? Pressure after 4 seconds or 5 seconds shouldn't be counted as a pressure. You know what I'm saying? So,
because that's basically a coverage.
Exactly. Right. That's a coverage issue then. So this game, I felt like we didn't get to Matt Ryan a lot, if at all. I don't even know if we sacked Matt Ryan this game. I think there was
I think twice.
Twice. There was two. But it seemed like Matt Ryan had all day, and when he didn't have all day, he had lanes. Why is Matt Ryan running?
Sheldon Day and Bosa, Mike.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. But it's like, why so we see this struggle to get to him at a consistent rate and bring him down or hit him and all that, right? And then it's like, well, the Niners got a lot of pressures that they started right away. The Niners got a lot of pressures. You hear it all come back, right? And so is it the secondary that's a concern? Is it the defensive line? And what I'm learning is that these two things go together really, really well. Really, really, really well, especially with this team. You're missing – I don't want to say this yet. Tony, you wanted to touch on something in particular, so I'm going to give it back to you, and then we'll circle back around on this defensive topic. I don't want to say what I was going to say yet.
All right, what I'm going to touch on is the reason why possibly this defense is struggling, minus the injuries. Okay, we addressed a huge need in this offseason. Okay, we improved our defensive line coach, and we improved with our defensive backs coach with Kocurek and Joe Woods. Kocerek's style is the wide nine scheme where it's pin your ears back, get upfield, play to run to the quarterback. Okay. Now, with that being said, if you are undisciplined in that scheme, this is what happens. You see that corner. What happens is that the ends rush upfield, and then the interior guys do what they do. And if they get pushed out of a way, and the other guy gets pushed the other way, a lane is developed. And that's why you saw Matt Ryan take off up the middle of this defense a couple times in that game. Now, with that being said, I think the injury to D Ford, okay, this is where it comes in, okay? D Ford was so damn fast off that ball. He would hit that corner, and then the quarterback would have to step up instantaneously. And now that's where the interior guys are like right in prime position to either just shed and go right or left because they're on their way. What's happening now is that outside rush isn't getting there. So now all four of these guys are going, and now there's a longer time for that quarterback to sit there because the linemen are pushing them all out, and he just steps up, and then he has the lane to go. It's like parting the Red Seas. That's one thing. Another thing that I noticed watching this game and the New Orleans game is because of the aggressive nature of our front and Kocerek's scheme, coaching style, and his beliefs, teams are using that against us. So what you see now is the offensive linemen for the Falcons, whenever they ran the screen, they didn't even touch the defensive players. They just ran down the field. And you saw all four linemen go up, say, uh-oh, and then turn. And then they just peeled back and tried to go catch that guy. Either it was a slot receiver or the tight end or the running back. And that's what it shows it on the film. So a lot of these coordinators are taking that and they're running it and they're using it against them. So now what the other issue is, Mike, what you said, the secondary and the defensive line work together, correct? Our secondary, with being that Sherman's been out, they've been playing it like off the line of scrimmage, cushion. They're giving a lot of cushion. especially with Tart out. So these corners are 5-6 yards off the ball. So now right off the bat, you call a screen, your linemen are down the field already, your corners are taking 3 steps back, which puts them at 8 yards, and now you're in trouble. That's where teams are exposing this defense. I saw it on the film today. I said, holy crap, this is the issue.
That's been happening for 4 weeks now, 5 weeks.
Huh?
That's been happening for like 5 weeks now.
Yeah, but they're using our aggressive nature against us. So now this is where the three of them need to sit down and make some type of adjustment. All right. Because we don't have full strength in our pass rush. And when Mike said again how they work together, those two guys got around the corner so damn fast. When we had the depth, they would go balls out every play. And then if they were tired, you would get the Ronald Blair. Then when Ronald Blair went down, you had DJ Moore. Demontre Moore. And you don't have that now. So now you're getting the Valoga and Eric Armstead or Solomon Thomas as your edge rushers. And now it's really not working. And that's why these teams are hitting such not big plays, but they're moving the ball more efficiently and more successively against this defense because now these teams are exposing them. For instance, listen, I understand Al-Shahir's Aziz is struggling. He is. I'll give it to him. The kid came from Florida Atlantic University. Okay. I'm not questioning the kid's talent, but he's a rookie. He didn't play. He missed the last 3 months of his last season with an ACL tear. And the stage might be a little too big. But the reason why I think they're going with him is because the athleticism that he offers and the ability to cover ground, you're not going to get that with Nzocha. They might not feel they don't get that with Lee. So now you're talking about Quan Alexander's injury. So now you start piecing all these pieces together, and this is the reason why this defense could potentially be taking a step back.
Let me just say really quick, you talked on Quan Alexander, and we had a message up from Josh Gallagher. Thanks for the contribution. No. Quan Alexander is not coming back, and if he does, it won't be anytime soon. Kendrick Bourne posted that video on his Instagram of him catching the ball and saying that boy said he's coming back. He then later went on KNBR and expressed exactly what he was talking about. Quan Alexander said that he hopes that we can make it to the big dance, meaning the Super Bowl, and if so, then he would have a chance at returning. So this is not it's not a thing where he's coming back anytime soon, okay? So just want to let you guys know that. And Suggs, I see this in the chat also. Suggs is not a 49er. He's with the Chiefs. So, all right. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, to touch on some of the things that, that Tony was talking about, I would actually personally rather see Njoku out there on base downs. Like, I really would. Like, I think that, Shire is like Tony said, he's talented. He has things, but he is a rookie. Like I think that you lost a lot of leadership on this team already. And I know Mark's never been a starter here, but he also has been on this team for a while. So he probably has a little bit of leadership role. And I hate saying his goddamn name, but I'm just going to say Mark N. But I would rather him be out there for base downs, like at least base, because like Al-Shire is just, I don't know. It just seems like week in, week out now, it's like you see one more bad thing out of him, one more bad thing. And then you roll back and you say, well, he's a rookie, well, he's this, well, he's that. You don't get that Brock Coyle effect like I did with Brock Coyle. Like, he's not a detriment to the team when he's out there, but he's also not a solidified starter who you need on your team, right? So Al-Shire is quick. He has some good coverage skills here and there. I me personally see him more so struggle in the passing game than I do the run game. Even with that speed and athleticism, Mark N isn't the best in coverage, but I like him in coverage as well. So to touch on that, like you were saying earlier, Tony, this you're losing those finishing plays because of depth, right? You're playing more plays. You're playing those, 62, 63 plays a game as to where you were playing 30 before, but in those 30, you were coming in, 7 or 8 in the first quarter, 6 or 5 in the second quarter, 4 to 6 in the third quarter, and you had those fresh legs. So you had those fresh legs. So that's where we're seeing the difference in these guys. When you're starting to put Solomon Thomas's out there, and they're, I don't know why Solomon Thomas can't. I mean, he just, I don't know. He makes like one play a game, if that. You know what I mean? Like I can't even touch on him.
They don't have anybody else. That's the problem.
Right. No, I totally agree. There's a few guys that just, to me, wouldn't be on this team. They're just garbage. And, I've touched on already DJ Reed. I think he's dookie. Elijah Lee, I think he's dookie. Elijah Lee and DJ Reed, special teams guys. That's what they are. You know what I mean? In my eyes, that's what they are. Aziz Al-Shair, I think, can be really good with a little bit more tenure and learning under his belt. But Mike, you were touching on saying, I think this defense has played well in close games. And I think lately we just see it in the close games because of lack of depth. We lost Ronald Blair. We lost Demontre Moore. Then you got guys like Valaga playing, who I never even really see anywhere in the play. So I think right now the trust on this defense is getting healthy. And if we can't get healthy, I don't have trust in this defense. And that's just to basically answer the question. And it's because of the fact that the depth and the secondary depth, as in who's starting in the secondary. I'm worried about our secondary until we can get healthy.
My opinion on the defense is this. I trust our defense to keep the game close and competitive. I don't think we're ever going to get blown out because of the defense, right? But what I think the defense is missing right now, and I know we were supposed to be talking aside from injuries, but all of our problems on defense are kind of due to the injuries, right? We don't have closers. This team was always able to keep it close, but we didn't have anyone to finish it. When the game was on the line, get around the corner and get after the quarterback. Come up the middle and get after the quarterback, right? We never had closers. Before, our best lineman was DeForest Buckner. Well, the game was on the line. You double him. You triple him if you have to. You know what I'm saying? Eric Armstead was being moved all over the place. He wasn't the guy that he is this year. Now you got Bosa, you got Ford, you had DJ Jones. You know what I mean? You had Ronald Blair. You had finishers. They went out and got finishers. You do the same thing in the secondary. We didn't have playmakers back there, right? You go out and you get Quan Alexander. You go out and you get your Richard Sherman, right? You hope that Tart comes back. You have Quan Williams coming back, right? Like, all these guys are gone. And then the other thing that they all play a major part in is communication. One of you guys said it, or I think it was Nick. Communication is so important in this defense. You know what I'm saying? And so when Sherman's out there and he speaks, these guys listen. These young guys, they take to it right away. It's issues that you're having with other people. I don't know if they don't trust it. Aziz Al-Shair, you were talking about him, and the whiffs that he has and may have, right? It comes down to him trusting his athleticism and not the process, right? When a guy gambles on his athleticism, I'm fast enough to make this if I'm making the wrong decision here, right? If you don't have that athleticism, then the books mean much more to you because now you have to depend on your strategy. That's what makes Richard Sherman so great. He's never been the most athletic. He's never been the fastest, the biggest, the strongest, the tallest, right? But he's a cerebral guy. He knows the playbook inside and out. He knows by your formation down and distance, you're likely running this play right here. So with the guys who are athletic, they depend on that athleticism. That's what the biggest problem was for Quan Alexander when he was in Tampa. He depended so much on his athleticism, he would just guess on a play and be wrong, or either way, no matter what he was doing, he was 100 miles an hour in one direction. And that's why they complain about his missed tackles all the time, right? Here, they took him from the middle. They put him to a side. You got one little section to control, 1/3 of the field. That's yours. You're not in the middle, and you have to cover everything. Now, all of a sudden, his 100 miles an hour in one direction is his assignment, and he's really good at that. You made it so that he didn't have to be the cerebral player. Let him go out there and be the athlete that he is. We're missing all of that now. All of that is gone in this defense. But they're trying. These guys are trying, and I think that I think that this defense, with the injuries, can go into a game and play and keep the Niners competitive. It's about the offense that has to keep it up. So that's my thoughts on it all. I like our defense. I like that these young guys are getting some athleticism. Not athleticism. These guys are getting some experience.
I was going to say, don't they have athleticism already?
Yeah. I like that they're getting some experience out there. I do see some improvements on a week in and week out basis from these guys. So I don't want to sit here and make it seem like we're beating up on these guys or we're even hating on these guys. That's not it. The question was, what are the concerns? That's why it seems so negative. There are as many positives as there are negatives, probably more positive, honestly, when you step back and you take a look at this, except for Solomon Thomas. I don't know why he's here. I'm not even going to do it. But Solomon Thomas is someone that really, like, he's the biggest question mark to me because I just don't get him or it. So you can't talk about Solomon. No, I have not heard a professional. I have not heard anybody critique Solomon Thomas representing either some staff or, you know what I'm seeing, someone with a name or reputation on the line, and they don't mention his off the field circumstances and situations. For 3 years, they've been doing that now. 3 years they've been doing that. At some point, it's got to stop. I feel bad for him. I understand everything he went through. And again, it doesn't change how I feel about that. My condolences and, praying for his family and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't change. At some point, you have to get back on the field or you have to leave the field. And if you're on the field, he's not doing it. So let's talk about the team going forward, guys. I think that going forward, we're going to see something a lot different. The games have all of a sudden doubled in importance. It's 2 games left. These games are more important than any games we've played all year. They always say the next game is the most important game, but this is really, really it right now. This is the difference between 2 home games versus 3 road games. This is the difference between all of those injured players getting another 12 days of rest versus just 6 days of rest. This is the difference between it's just a lot. It's a lot. We just found out today that Mike Person has a neck injury, and he's doubtful or questionable for Saturday's game. Questionable.
Yeah, I thought he went through walkthrough. I thought he went through walkthroughs.
He did go through the walkthrough, but they already ruled out who's out. Taylor, the same group, Taylor Tart and God, what the hell is that?
Ford.
Who?
Ford,
yeah.
So let's talk about this team going forward, right? I want to know what you guys tell me what you guys think we're going to see. You can tell. I don't know if there's a difference between what you hope to see and what you think we're going to see, but talk about this team going forward. You don't have to speak on a certain game in particular, but just let me know what you guys think about this team going forward. I think that we're going to see some changes happening. I think that the changes are necessary, and I think the changes are also precursors to what's coming. Kyle Shanahan spoke a lot in his 10-minute presser, and he mentioned playoffs. He mentioned injuries. He mentioned a lot of things that let me know that despite what he said following the game, he was worried about getting out of there healthy. He said a lot of things that contradicted what he said immediately following the game. Immediately following the game, no, this game was important. This game was the most important game to me. I really wanted to win this game. No, I was not being conservative in my play calling. No, I was not just worried about injuries. If they're out there, they have to play. Injury is always going to be a risk. And then you listen to him today, I listened to it today. I don't know if that was from today or from yesterday. But when I listened to that presser, that most recent one that he did, a lot of what he said contradicted everything he said there. It's just how he said it. He says it in a way that makes it sound like it's not a contradiction, but you can't sit there and say, oh, well, we want these guys back and healthy. We're not going to rush these guys back. We want to make sure that we're ready for the playoffs. The playoffs are the most important thing right now. He is saying all of that. I'm confident that we can win 3 games if we have to, but I prefer us to win 2.
Yeah.
He can sit here and try to say, oh, the next game is the most important, da-da-da-da. Kyle Shanahan's already thinking about the playoffs. He can't come to the microphone and just say that, but he is definitely thinking ahead, and he is worried about the health of this team.
I don't think he's 100% thinking about just the playoffs. I think he's locked in and focused on the Seattle game because that is your playoffs. Because if you don't win that game, you're on the road.
Well, that game
Yeah,
won't
but
matter if we lose tomorrow.
that game won't matter if you lose to the Rams.
Yeah.
I think we're going to beat the Rams because this is going to be a battle between him and McVay.
But what I'm saying is
that's what I think.
We have never beat this team. Well, this year we did. Never mind. But you can't say next week is the most important one because if we don't beat the Rams, Seattle game won't matter at all.
No, I understand that, but I think you're going to see different. It's not going to be what you saw in Philly and with the Falcons. It's not. It's going to be. I think he's going to be aggressive like he was versus the Saints, but he's not going to dig deep like he did in the Saints. I think he's going to attack like he did with the Saints.
Talk about it. Let's go. That's what
I think he's going to run the ball. I think he's going to start using his motions again. I think he's going to attack, the mid to intermediate routes. I think you're going to see this, and I think it's going to be spread more. It's not going to be focused on George Kittle. I understand why he went to Kittle because Atlanta can't cover a tight end. You saw it. They struggled. Devontae Campbell struggled all year covering tight ends. He struggled versus the third tight end versus Carolina. But
he just had a rookie beat him up.
The thing is, I think we could all agree that was not true Kyle Shanahan's offense last Sunday. Can we agree on that? I'll say I didn't. From what you saw versus the Saints to what you saw versus the Falcons, it was two different teams. I understand they had a 3-game stretch that was brutal. We had the Packers at home. We went to Baltimore. Then we went to the Saints. 2 road games, came back. Then we had to face the Falcons.
I just don't know if I can agree with anybody saying that because, to me, as an NFL coach, you shouldn't be holding back any time. And, you saw them trying to throw the ball to Emmanuel Sanders. He didn't catch the football when they threw him to him.
Well, let me ask you this. If there's anybody in the NFL right now who knows Kyle Shanahan's offense, who is it?
Dan Quinn.
100%. But that's what I'm saying. I don't
need
agree.
To say more.
That's what I'm saying. I don't agree that wasn't Kyle Shanahan's offense. It just got shut down.
Huh?
It just got shut down.
He did what he thought was good enough to get through that game. That's it. He didn't want to show nothing. And if you really listen to it, Atlanta showed a different front than what they've normally seen all season.
They did, but that's what I don't understand. And I'm not saying that you guys are wrong or anybody's wrong. I'm saying in personal, I don't understand as into why, we say that we didn't go into the playbook. When Kyle Shanahan has said himself and players have said themselves, they do a complete game plan each week for different teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know that Dan Quinn's going to know your offense. So why wouldn't you change your offense up differently and come out and win a game that is possibly – you said it yourself. Kyle Shanahan said it himself, not you. He said it himself that this is their Super Bowl, and if we don't play like it's ours, we're going to get beat.
Nick, you can't tell me that you watched this game, the offensive plays, and thought that Shanahan was going all out trying to win this game. I
told you that I thought he was vanilla. But that's what I'm saying. That's what Tony just said. That's what I don't agree with. I don't think that this was he said it himself too. He said, because somebody asked him about the play call, and he says, well, I didn't feel that I needed to do these type of things like I did in New Orleans to beat the Saints.
Isn't that what Tony said? And you said you can't tell me that?
No, that's what let me finish what I'm saying. To me, that's what scares me about this offense. If you're not going to call your game the way that you're going to call it to continue going forward and make changes, that's complete stupidity.
But
for me,
let me just say something. Dan Quinn came from Seattle as a defensive coordinator. Dan Quinn runs Seattle's defense. Kyle didn't want to put nothing on film to show how he would attack the Seattle defense, so now Seattle can adjust for it. That's why he came out vanilla and said, I'm going to try to steal this game by going basic and just trying to get it and just get out of there. That's why you saw that. Because now if he starts going into the bag and starts attacking his defense, he had the angle 40 on him, right? Now all of a sudden, there's Pete Carroll. Whoa, okay, now I see how they attacked our defense. Let me make my adjustments. So now, if Kyle showed his hand, he can't dig for anything else because now Carroll saw it. So it's kind of like, cat and mouse shit going on.
We've already played Seattle once. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like,
but you played Seattle without George Kittle.
Yes, I understand that, but there's also there's a ton of tape with George Kittle playing for the whole season. So that's where I don't get this. Like, Kyle, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not arguing with you guys in particular. I just don't get this, as in why you go and you create a playbook. Each week you change your playbook, right? That's what players have said. George Kittle has came out and said it. Emmanuel Sanders has came out and said it, and said it's a matter of learning the playbook for that week. That's what they teach that week. So installments, whatever. I think that while the play calling was vanilla as shit this week, the execution was even worse from everybody on the team.
Yeah, I agree with that. And they did come out flat. I agree.
And with the lack of execution, made the offense look like it wasn't moving. But the offense was doing some good things when you rewatch this game. But the lack of execution wasn't there to where we couldn't win this game. And that's on everybody. So that's not with just play calling. You look, how many times is George Kittle going to fumble the ball on a 4th and whatever? Fluke, right? Fluke. So we get that first down, we win that game, right?
Exactly. So the vanilla offense would have beat the Falcons. He didn't have to show anything.
Right. So, but that's what I'm saying. I still agree with you guys, but I'm just saying that, to me, if something's not working, right, which wasn't working all the way until what? Halftime was what, 10-10?
It was 19-10 in the fourth quarter.
No, but it was 10-10 at halftime. It was 10-10 at halftime, right?
I don't remember what the score was at halftime. I don't know.
And then I think we took the lead.
Yeah.
And then I think we took the lead after the half. They tried the onside kick. We ended up scoring a touchdown. Took it to
16 because he missed the extra point, and then we got a field goal. 19-10.
And then we got the other field goal. I just don't know. Like as much as I want to agree with you guys,
can I ask? I still don't know what you're disagreeing with. What exactly are you disagreeing with?
I'm just disagreeing that he wasn't going to dig into his playbook like that. I'm disagreeing with that, because as a head coach, you have to play and win games. You can't sit back and say, well, I'm going to go, a little bit less than what I would to win this game because of another game, when this game that just passed was just as important as the next game coming up. Like, we're not in week 1. We're going into week 14, 15. So
yeah, but let me ask you this. Did you see anything? Well, how about this? Let me retract that. Did you think this team could do what they did versus the Saints?
Did I think this team could do what they could do against the Saints? Yes, I did.
You thought they can go blow for blow with Drew Brees?
Yeah, I thought they could. I thought they could.
How do you think
better
they
offense?
never showed that before?
Huh?
How do you think that when they never physically showed that in a game before? Yeah, they blew out the Panthers. They blew out the Packers, but you never seen them go with a play caller and a quarterback duo like that before. I'll be straightforward with you. I had no clue that they could keep up.
I thought the reason I thought we could go toe-to-toe with them was because of our defense. I thought we could put up way more points than them because of our defense. And our defense played like shit that game.
Their defense is really good, and I didn't think they were going to put up 40-plus points on that defense. I thought we were going to win the game, and that's
what I said. I had us winning like 32-17 or something like that. It wasn't 48-46. But
the plays we saw in that game, we had literally not seen all year long.
No, because they were mostly all trick plays.
Okay. And what we didn't do basic stuff in this last game. I don't understand the reason I don't understand what you're disagreeing with.
You shouldn't be functioning and being set on winning a game off of trick plays. Like, no, that shouldn't be the way you win football games.
That's a different argument.
That's digging into the playbook.
But he didn't dig into the playbook. He was in Tecmo Bowl. He used 3 plays over and over, and it was you said it. I don't understand how you're disagreeing when you said
3 plays from 3 plays from the same formation he used, which he does a lot. That's part of his offense.
Mike, I'm not disagreeing with what they did. I'm disagreeing with what you guys said, that he shouldn't have, that he shouldn't have that he definitely shouldn't have dug into his pile of playbook.
We never said he shouldn't have.
Tony said that. He said he was
I said he didn't have to. He went into this game saying, I'm not going to show my hand because we're going into this stretch. That's what I said.
Right. That doesn't mean that.
And that's what I disagree with, because this game was just as important as the next game. Like,
okay, wait. Stop. You guys aren't understanding each other. Or Nick, you didn't understand what Tony is saying, that he thinks that's what Kyle Shanahan's mentality was.
Yeah, that's
not
what I'm saying,
not that Kyle Shanahan should have done what he did. He's saying that he thinks that Shanahan went into this past game saying, I don't need to show everything in the playbook because this is the same base defense that Seattle runs. They're going to be watching this game closely. And he thinks that Shanahan went into this game being vanilla, which is what we all saw, and that bit him in the ass.
You're absolutely right. It did bite him in the ass, and that's what I'm pissed off about, because this team in general, if you were this offensive-minded coach, right? To me, guess what? I'm not being worried about what the next team is going to do to me because they play the same defense, because I'm going to come up with something to beat your personnel. I'm going up against your personnel versus their personnel. You change your plays and your playbook up, and you shouldn't hold back at any time just because of what you're facing later.
Shanahan don't think like that. He said that even back in preseason. He doesn't. You can roll your eyes. He said in preseason, if I run a play and it's successful in preseason, it's likely not to work in the regular season. So you can roll your eyes, but that's not how Shanahan thinks.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say to you right now. So whatever plays you do against Atlanta, you don't need to bring them out to do against Seattle. You can scheme up something totally different.
Which is why he was vanilla against the Falcons, so that way he can be completely different against Seattle. That's what
I'm saying, that he was wrong for being vanilla, because that game is just as important as the next game.
He's wrong, but he's not wrong, because if George Kittle did not fumble that ball, we win this game. So it's kind of 50-50 whether he was wrong for being vanilla. If George caught that ball, there's more time burnt off the clock. They possibly get into the end zone and make it a 2-score possession. So now you're in a different situation of football. So was he vanilla? Was his game plan vanilla? Yes. 100% will agree with it. Was that his intent? My opinion, I think that was his intent. And I told you why I thought that was his intent. But if it all funnels down to what in God's name? Oh my God. It all funnels down to the Kittle turnover. That if he didn't turn that ball over, I think there's probably the 99.9% we won that game.
Yeah,
he turned the ball over, and
even if he didn't fumble and we still won that game, we didn't deserve to win that game. We played like complete shit. So
yeah, no,
if you play like that, you're not going very far in the playoffs.
I said that very early in the third quarter that I told
they don't deserve to win a game like that, but sometimes you win a game like that because of situations. You know, a tough 3-game stretch, 2 games on the road. The team could be tired, Nick. You don't know. This defense is lagging ass because everyone's injured. There's a lot like you got to put into the pot and see it out of. So it's kind of there's a lot entailed. They had a very early bye week. They sustained a ton of injuries to that defense. They had injuries to the offense. So, you know, I'm not using an excuse, but those are kind of factors in this whole scenario.
All right, so we had a couple of questions from George. One of them said, "Is this game plan against Atlanta? I mean, the Rams going to be the same?" I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it can be. They're using, I mean, on both sides of the ball, they're a completely different team right now. The personnel is different. He's not doing that 11 personnel like he was doing so much before. A lot of things are different. So the short answer to that, George, is no. Now, when it comes to Shanahan and moving forward, I think that this offense is going to start showing a lot more. And I don't think it's going to be because of what they want to put on tape. I think it's practice. I think that there's a different way of calling plays, a different aggression when you're in the playoffs. I think that there's you know how the defense has been the all gas, no break mantra. I think we're going to start seeing that on offense now. You remember how I said that Shanahan was depending on the defense. He was banking on the defense can get a stop if I don't score, and we should be able to win this game. I think that he's going to get to the opposite mindset, the mindset that we want to see him in, where it's, I can't depend on this defense. I can't leave it up to them, right? And this is going to be, I hate saying this is going to be 28-3 in his head all over again, okay? This postseason, 28-3 is ringing in his head. This is going to be the first time he's back in the postseason since that Super Bowl with the Falcons, okay? And so what did he do? He got vanilla at the end of that Super Bowl. He depended on the defense to stop the Patriots or to continue to stop the Patriots, and it did not work. I think that he is going to put together an aggressive game plan and a certain set of plays. So one thing that you were saying, Nick, about he changes the playbook, he doesn't. His playbook is set, but what he does is he changes his game plan. It's what plays each week are we going to use against this team because of their personnel, like you said. So it's not so much the playbook.
But that's not what the player said. Like George Kittle literally said that there's a different playbook,
a game plan
week for each team.
No, it's a different game plan, not a playbook.
No, that question was asked. They said, do you mean game plan? He said no. Kyle Shanahan draws up an entire new playbook for each team that we face each week.
I don't know how that's physically possible. I don't. He might add a couple of plays or some wrinkles, some different designs out of certain formations, but you can't come up with a completely new playbook every single week.
I guess maybe a call sheet he could be talking about.
Right, but that's your game plan. A call sheet is your game plan out of your playbook. You get what I'm saying? Like you can't just draw up brand new plays and install them all in 1 week. If that's the case, what's the point of preseason? What's the point of any of that stuff? That's a practice. The offseason.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like, you can create 30, 60 plays, right? And you take 15 or 20 of those plays that week. So let's say week 4, you create 40 plays, right? Off of one thing. You can take 10 of those plays and you can take 10 of these plays that you're doing and 10 of these plays from that week and 10 of these plays from that week and come up with a whole new playbook and game plan just for that week. So you're still creating a new playbook.
Okay. All right.
Just one thing. I just saw something in the chat and someone made a very good point. I forgot who it was. But when was the last time you saw a 21 play drive?
Never. It's never been done.
So now, what does that tell you? That tells me that Kyle was not fully aggressive. He ran the ball right, ran the ball left, threw it right, threw it left, just to burn the clock, just to get the hell out of that game, hopefully with a W and no one hurt. By seeing that 21 play drive, that's what it screams to me. Because if you, like, I'm not trying to make myself seem like I'm Bill Walsh, but when I coached and I called an offense, if I wanted to go, my objective was to score in like under 10 plays, 8 to 10 plays. That was my objective, to get the ball down the field and score. 21 plays shows me he wanted to kill that clock, and that's it. That's all I'm saying. And it's all entailed with the vanilla offense. It's all entailed with the injuries. It's all entailed about getting the hell out of that game with a W. And that's it. Because I'm telling you now, you saw his reaction on the sideline. He was like this.
Mm-hmm.
If he went all out in that game and threw his dice down and said, this is it, I'm going for it, I'm going to blow these MFs out, I'm going for the kill shot, and he lost that game like that, headphones would have been flying, that call sheet would have been up in the air, and he would have been screaming with veins out the side of his neck.
Well, I'm telling you right now, if they play conservative like that for the rest of the years, don't even plan on going to the Super Bowl.
No,
because any team in the NFL, you should not take easy. If you're going to go in and think, I don't really have to do much to beat this team, you're not going to win many games. You're not going to win the rest of the season.
It's going to be conservative. So I do want to apologize to everybody really quick. I said that if you don't beat the Rams, the Seahawks game does not matter.
No, it still matters because they'd be tied, and I think we win the
Well, so what will happen if we lose to the Rams but we beat Seattle? At worst, we get the number 2 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At worst, that's with the problem is that the Vikings and the Packers play each other. I didn't realize that. One more time, they play each other on Monday night this week, and so it's impossible for each of them to win out. So if we lose to the Rams and beat the Seahawks, we're 12-4, but then so would either the Packers or the Vikings be? So that could give them one of them. And then the Saints are at
11-3 right now. 12-3.
Are at 11-3, and that's it. So as far as NFC teams that could finish with a better record than the Niners and plays higher than us, if we lose to the Rams and beat Seattle, it's only one other team. So we could still be home field advantage all the way through the playoffs, except if we play the number 1 seed. So I apologize. I was wrong there. My bad.
Yeah, but how does that shake out? Who has the better in-conference record between Seattle and San Francisco?
Well, we would win the tiebreaker if we beat them then.
Right. So if we lose against the Rams and still beat Seattle, we would still end up with the 1 seed.
No. We could end up with the 2 seed if the Saints went out. Because if the Saints they have 2 more games, they could finish 13-3. We would
have the better record.
4. Right. They would overall have a better record than us. The Saints and the Packers are the only teams that could finish with 13 wins if they win all the way out.
Right.
Those are the only 2 teams that could finish with 13 wins. So we could finish with the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 5th seed, or the 6th seed right now. The only seed we can't get is the 4th. So I apologize. We don't have to win the Rams game in order to get home field advantage, or at least most of it. We can get a 2 seed still. So
but you wouldn't get that bye.
No, if you get the 2nd seed, you still get a bye.
You get a bye with a 2nd seed. The
first 1 and 2
because there's 6 teams, so first 2 are out.
3 plays 6, 4 plays 5.
Yeah. But I was wrong there. I said, like, with conviction, if we don't beat the Rams, then the Seahawks game don't matter. I was wrong. So my bad. I wanted to own that, so I'm sorry.
Eat crow, bitch.
Yeah.
I got eat like parrot, motherfucker. Eat parrot.
Get Mike out of here.
Mike hasn't been out in a while.
No, man. I do think we see a more aggressive play calling from Kyle Shanahan. I think he tries a lot of plays. Now that looking at all this and seeing that this Rams game really ain't that important, he might just try a bunch of stuff. This game might look completely crazy from Kyle Shanahan. I don't know, man.
I don't like that.
I don't either. I'm not saying that he should. I'm saying that he might come in here and say, these are some of the plays we want to try in the playoffs. Let's test them out and see how they work.
See, I'm just not – I don't know. I'm just not big on that shit. Like, I'm not big on, let me just, see what I can possibly do without showing my whole cards to beat this NFL team and then losing and then going the next week and say, well, let's try this out. That's what practice is for. That's what, but
the problem is because we're coming on a short week and with all our injuries, we can't practice. I mean, you can do your walkthroughs, but you can't.
Okay, so even worse, you don't go out like a game this important between the 1 and the 2 seed and a bye week for your injuries is more important for me. You don't come out you come out, you do what you need to do to win and don't try things and say, oh, well, like that's where – and that's not with you guys. I'm just saying if that's the way it is, I don't agree with that shit because you're throwing your whole team off of what you're doing to practice and in a real NFL game and say, let's hope that we can win here. Like that to me is just stupid. You're not going to go very far in the playoffs with that. Like you're lucky if you finish with the 2 seed playing that way.
I think Kyle's not test, but I guess his mock run was the Saints game. I think he went all out. He tested that team, see what they could handle, see what they could do, and they passed with flying colors offensively. I just think they went up against one hell of a play caller and one hell of a design artist with his play calls and attacking the weaknesses of defenses by running motions and letting the secondary adjust so that with the motion, the guy who was covering him, it's a different guy now, and that happens to be the weak link. It's Sean Payton, guys. The guy's a genius. 1A, 1B in play callers in the league between him and Shanahan. But, I mean, I think that New Orleans game was a true test to this team. And I know Kyle, they were probably happy as hell with what they saw. And I think that's why you saw what they did there. I think you might see him be a little more aggressive versus the Rams because of Sean McVay, and he wants to prove a point that because, what happened last season, how McVay blew him out, whatever. But
But he should be worried about them just because they're fighting for a playoff spot. They can do damage if they get in the playoffs.
I thought the Rams were out.
They're not technically. They have a 3% chance. They would have to win out, and a lot of teams would have to lose out. They need someone to tie. Also, it's literally a 3% chance. It's not.
No, because they can still get it. They can still get a wild card.
No, they need a lot of people to lose out and one team to tie or two teams to tie. I can't remember which team it is. The standings right now are Packers and Vikings already have 10 and 11 wins. The Saints already have 11 wins. We and Seattle already have 11 wins. They need the Vikings.
Yeah, but go for the wild card spots right now, which is the Vikings. And
but the Vikings play the Packers, so if they win, it's not the wild card because now they have the
right. So the Packers would slide into the wild card.
Right, but that's 11 wins. The Rams can't get 11 wins. They only have 8 wins. So they need the Vikings to lose.
No, they have 9 wins.
No, they have 8 wins. They're 8-6 right now.
I thought they were 9.
No, they only have 8 wins. So they need the Vikings to lose out, and there's a tiebreaker that involves a tie. So I don't know what it is, but I saw it like their odds of winning, and it was literally 3%. Getting to the playoffs, so they can't do it. I don't know if it's going to happen. I can't say they won't do it, but I don't think it's going to happen. So, yeah, they're not completely eliminated, but they're 8-6 and they're trying. So,
for some reason, I thought they were 9.
I had something I was going to say. What were you guys talking about before that? Oh, I was going to say this. The reason I didn't like this game plan for the Falcons game, and I don't think that we ever see something like this again. Remember when we started this win streak? We were on this incredible, long, 5-6 win streak, and every week we would come on the show, and I would say Jimmy hit 7, 8 receivers, 9 receivers. Remember, I used to I was boasting. That was I couldn't believe how much he was spreading the ball around, right? And so I just went back and looked. We had 7 different receivers. No one other than George Kittle had 3 or more catches. Everybody else was 1 or 2. That is it. There was nobody else involved in this game plan. Nobody. And that's not the brand of Niner football we see. Even in games where it was a blowout, where, we walked away from the Panthers. We walked away from the Packers very early. We could run the ball a lot. There were still at least 7 people with catches, and you got the majority of them with 3 or more. This was just –
I don't know if it's so much that they weren't a part of the game plan. I just think Kittle was the number 1 read, and it was single coverage, and he was always open. So you don't get past that read. And other times that he didn't have that read, there was pressure in Jimmy's face. I wouldn't go to as much to say I don't think they were a part of the game plan.
Oh, he forced the ball to him a lot too. He forced the ball to him a lot where he wasn't wide open.
I only seen 2 plays that he forced the ball to Kittle.
He forced it in there a couple of times, and Jimmy wasn't just not looking all over the field. There's plays. There's a thread on Twitter where they're showing all the plays where other people were open. He still threw it to Jimmy.
There were times, but I'm saying you still have to go through your reads, and that's what I think. There was not Grady. What's his name? Grady Jarrett, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was eaten up Staley on the outside. The pressures were getting there in Jimmy's face. Jimmy had to avoid pressure in the pocket umpteen times. I would probably say 5 or 6 times easily, not counting the ones that he broke out. The pressure was there. So to get through your reads.
Person was getting worked all game, and pressure was coming right up the middle.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
He had to look to the outside, though. That's why he had to look to the outside, and that's where Kittle was all game. Yeah.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's his reads. So if you're going through the reads and you don't have time, and you only get to your 1 or your 2, and then you see that the 1 is going to be open, then you go back to the 1, and the 2 is not open. So if Jimmy was standing back there and had time, and he was missing plays like we said about the one where he had Deebo Samuel wide open in Baltimore, and he had time to throw, that was to me was missing a read. He did the check down instead of the play across the middle, and he had time to throw the football. He didn't have a whole lot of time in Atlanta. So you're going with that 1, depending on how your reads are. And I could be wrong. I don't know if Kittle was the 1 all the time, or how they called that game plan as his reads, but to me, I don't think it was so much that there was nobody else really involved, as in, quote unquote, added into the game plan. I just don't think that they had time to get the ball off to other guys, because there was times he forced it to Emmanuel Sanders when he was open or wasn't open and made some really bad throws. Same thing with Debo. He made some really bad throws to Debo. He made some really bad throws to Kittle too. I mean, it was just Garoppolo didn't have a whole lot of time to throw, and when he did, he made it hurt.
Tony, you're too quiet over there, man. What's up?
I'm sorry. I just got an email from work. I'm sorry. I was listening to what Nick was saying.
Oh man.
Work. Basically, I mean, I agree with Nick was saying that he was under a lot of pressure this game. And when I went back and watched the game on the replay on the NFL Network, I jumped the gun and said Garland struggled. I think Garland had a pretty decent game. They were pretty much manned up, not manned up, but aligned over the guards, the two tackles. And Lake and Tomlinson had an okay game, and Person struggled on a couple plays, and which led to sacks. Is it concerning? Yes, we have Aaron Donald this week, and then we face Poona Ford and what the hell is the other guy's name? Reed, Jamon Reed for Seattle. Two tough defensive tackles. One's probably the top one in the league. The other one's probably maybe top 5. But it's going to be a test. I want to see how they step up. There was no real action. There was no real moving the pocket. So that could be another reason that could be something you might see in the playoffs, getting Jimmy out, bootlegging, running motion, run left, bootleg right, and all the receivers flowing over to the right side like a flood, they will call it technically. But, it's going to be interesting. I think Kyle's going to come out with a game plan this week. I think it's going to be a little more aggressive than what we saw with the Falcons.
I think we see a little bit of the old school, ground and pound play action.
Yeah, that's right. I think he's going to go back to that, do the play action boot. I don't think he's going to do the freaking fullback option or the double reverse pass. I don't think you're going to see that.
No, you're not going to see that probably anymore this season. But anytime they give the ball to Juice, it's going to be a thought now. You know what I mean? And so,
of course, you're 100% right.
It's those very successful plays that he knows aren't going to work again because teams are now expecting it.
And like I told you in that game versus the Saints, that first play where they ran the jet sweep and handed it off to Kittle, okay, it was a 3-yard gain. That double reverse, not that double reverse, what play was it? Damn it. Where it's Sanders down the field for the touchdown. That was the same play without Jimmy handing the ball off to Kittle.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
So, like we all said, one play sets up another play, sets up another part. Kyle has a system here. Kyle has a rhythm. He's thinking a quarter in advance. He's running this play now, showing this, and then in the second quarter, he's going to hit you with that.
Right, but you didn't see a lot of that this last game.
No, and that's why it shows you that it was basic vanilla offense.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It was an anomaly. And so I think we get back to the basics. Look, you got Garland in there right now. And Garland, hey, if you guys listen to KNBR and you guys are watching all these main media things that cover the 49ers and they're trashing Garland, they are wrong. Ben Garland did not have a bad game. He wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong. But the way that they're making – I listened to some interview today and they were like, pray for Ben Garland. What? Did you guys watch the game? Person was getting worked by Garrett. So it's not Ben Garland. Garland was okay. I don't know if Garland can handle Aaron Donald. I don't know. I'm not saying that he's going to be okay, but I am confident.
Richburg struggled with him.
Yeah. But what I am confident with is if we're running the ball. See, Ben Garland used to be a defensive lineman. He is good at going forward and bullying people.
Yeah.
Let him use that as his strength. There's a reason why he's so much better in the run game and getting to the second level and being effective and looking for people to make contact with. That's coming back. Listen, Richburg's not coming back. So the pass pro and all the nastiness and all that stuff, that's done. That is done. Right now, we got to go with who we have here and who we know is going to be here, right? I know a lot of people are saying, let's get someone. What's the other guy that played center for us?
Brunskill.
People are saying, bring Brunskill back. Brunskill might be on the line, but he's going to be as a guard.
It's Brunskill or Person. Person actually, before last season, Person took snaps at center.
Right, no, but the person I was thinking about was Brunskill.
Yeah.
Brunskill was the other guy I was thinking about. I think that they use the aggressiveness and his natural abilities, Ben Garland, and the run game comes back out. And I think we're going to see a lot of stuff. They're going to start running behind Mike McGlinchey again. When they run to the right, the team has a lot more success, especially with Mostert. If he's going to be the guy going forward, that's what you want to do. Between Garland and Mike McGlinchey. I have my hands off the screen, but between Garland and Mike McGlinchey, that's the way you want to go, and let these guys work. That's what you want to see, and that's going to set up, like you said, the play action and things like that. That's where I think Shanahan gets back to that. Let these shifty receivers, these young guys, get busy over the middle of the field, right in front of Jimmy. The pressure's coming, throw it over the pressure's head, and boom, there it is, a 17-yard play just like that. I think we get back to that kind of play. I really, really do. What are your thoughts on that all, Nick?
I've never been worried about Garland. I think Garland has played really, really well. When he was playing all preseason, when Richburg was out, he played really good. And we were talking about why change him. He's playing really well, and Richburg hasn't played all preseason. So, if you watch the Baldy breakdowns you can see with Ben Garland on there. Like, he talks about him.
I didn't see him this week. I like the Baldy breakdowns too. I didn't see him this week.
Yeah, to me, you can't go wrong with Garland. And yes, Richburg was playing at top level as well. But it's, what we noticed. And if Person has a better game, and to be honest with you, Laken Tomlinson, this was probably his most struggled game all year. Laken Tomlinson's game this year, as well as Mike Person. I think they both struggled. I think Tomlinson played better than Person did. But I also think that they both struggled the most in this last game than they have all year. And
Tomlinson's been really solid these last two seasons, honestly, when he's in there. I don't think it's a stretch to say he had his worst game, because that's not – his worst game is still a decent game. So,
right, but I'm saying that his worst game to where we're talking about him in this year. Because, normally when you're talking about Tomlinson, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, Tomlinson's worst game is still a good game.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I didn't say he had a bad game. I'm just saying that this was his worst game of the entire year. That, normally when we're talking about Tomlinson, it's not about his blocking and giving up pressures or sacks. It's about penalties. And that's what we're normally talking about with Tomlinson. It's usually one, sometimes two a game. And he's been a lot better at that. He's also has had a really quietly good year compared to, penalties and things like that. But as far as blocking and things, I think this was one of his worst games this entire year, because he did get beat up a little bit. Not that he allowed a ton of pressures. If you're looking at that, then you would switch over to Person and see how much Person has struggled. That this was definitely his worst game of the year. Those two guys with the pressures coming up the middle, I don't think it was so much on Garland. I think it was, even in the Saints game, you saw a difference with Person. Person got beat up a little bit in that Saints game, and everybody's like, "Oh, well, that's because Garland, Garland's in there, but it wasn't Garland. It was literally on Person." So, the last 2 weeks have been really tough on Person, and I don't know if maybe he had this neck injury, in the Saints game, and maybe he just tried to play through it, made it worse, and you still need your neck a lot in blocking. You know what I mean? So, that's something to look into this week against the Rams. Obviously, you're going to have him going up against guys like Aaron Donald, things like that. How is he going to do this week? And see what we get. But that's probably my weak link right now is Person over Garland on this offensive line going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I do think person's a big question mark. Maybe it's time to bring back my boy Joshua Garnett.
Get out of here.
Oh my God.
Hey, let's not pretend that
Oh
Joshua
my
Garnett
God.
handle.
Please.
Let's not pretend he didn't handle Aaron Donald. Come on now. Aaron Donald had his worst game as a professional against my man.
Yes. Yeah, but and whatchamacallit didn't even start that game.
Hey, don't matter. Don't matter.
He had like 4 plays that game.
And he handled Aaron Donald. He dog walked him.
Those were the 4 plays that Donald took off, bro. Come on. Yeah, no. He did what you guys said Kyle Shanahan did. He didn't really dig into his bag of tricks up against Joshua Garnett thinking that he could just beat him.
Yeah, and Garnett whooped him for it. That's right.
Garnett is horrible, bro. Garnett is horrible.
It's Garnett season, man. We're bringing him back. The Niners need help at guard. They're falling like flies over there. We got neck injuries and all that good stuff, man. Guys, man, I'm excited about this team. I'm excited about the playoffs, and it's really hard to not look forward. Clinching this early is kind of like it plays with my emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be like on the edge of my seat. Let's have a reason to get in here and do something. And it's all about right now. It's like seething. Okay, but we're in the dance, right? Yeah, but seething. I want to be like excited. I'm looking for a different way to watch these games. So for the people that are out there, you're feeling like me. How do we tell people to watch these games, guys? What should we be looking for? What's something to stay in tune for and keep people glued on the edge of their seat? Is it new plays? Is it new formations? Is it different personnel packages? Like, what should we be looking for that is going to make us excited about the upcoming playoffs?
To me, it's just the energy. Like the energy has to be better. You heard me specifically talk about this throughout the whole season is don't come out too hyped, don't come out too hyped, don't come out too hyped and make mistakes, right? Well, these last 2-3 weeks, I don't think we've been on the same energy level. Other than the Saints game, we might have been high energy because it was a back and forth scoring, but it wasn't long drives. It was like big play, big play.
I think they started a little flat against the Saints, actually.
They did. They definitely did. That's what I'm saying. But it got to that high energy level. Whereas you go to this Atlanta game and it was like the energy level just stayed the same. Like there was never too low or too high. They were just like in the middle. And I don't know if that had to do with injuries and things like that. We talk about turnovers like the last 4 or 5 weeks. I just looked it up. We've had 3 sacks in the last 4 weeks. Like that's a big detriment coming off a 4-game sack game against Arizona was the last one. We had 4.5 sacks, I believe, against Arizona. Then when we played Green Bay, no, that's what it was. We had it 4.5 against Green Bay. Then we went to Baltimore and we had 1.
Okay, but all right. So let's continue the breakdown. He's hard to bring down. He'll throw it away and he'll run. So that's one there. Jackson.
Yeah.
So that's not a knock on this team. That's not a reflection of the pass rush. That's him. Go ahead, keep going.
And then you go into the Saints.
Okay, we had a sack in that game that they didn't count.
It didn't count.
That Hill play was a sack. He was the only person under center. He was a quarterback. Thomas was it Solomon? No,
it was Bosa.
It was
Bosa was the one who got him. And
they
didn't count it as a sack. And there was a sack that they threw a flag on that game that came back.
That came
back. Drew Brees literally got rid of the ball faster than any quarterback in the NFL in any game. It was less than 2.5 seconds every single.
That was design.
Yeah, that was design because they knew.
But that's still something that we have to be considering. You know what I mean? Because these guys are getting the ball out fast. You know, I remember, Mike, I said to you, the Ravens were getting the football out fast too. Throwing the football. And then the Saints came out, and the broadcaster even said, when I rewatched the game, you kind of have to think that Baltimore showed a way to beat this 49ers defense. Then the Saints did it, right? The Saints did the same thing, got rid of the football fast. You go to Atlanta. Atlanta was doing the same thing, getting rid of the football fast.
He had time back there.
Yeah, but he also had a lot of time because of the way we were lining up with defense. And if you remember, I asked you, I wanted to see. Well, not asked you, but I said to you, I wanted to see how these corners played with Richard Sherman off the field. whether they were still going to give that 6, 7, 8-yard push or cushion compared to what we have been. And we played the same exact way. And when you're allowing that 8 yards, that's a quick get rid of the football screen type play, and you're getting 6 yards off it. Now, 1 or 2 plays, Emmanuel Mosley played it right and ran up and made the tackle, and they only got a yard, maybe 2 yards at some point. But these are reasons that if we don't start to tighten up this defense, these are ways that teams are going to continue to move the football down the field on us. And it's not even just design. It's not even just has to be design screens. These better quarterbacks that you're going to face and play callers in Sean McVay's and Pete Carroll, they're going to utilize that, and then going into the playoffs, playing against better quarterbacks. If you're not playing this press or get up close and jam, these offenses are going to continue to do that. They're going to continue to do it, and it's going to be a coverage beater every single time and stop your pass rush.
I don't know if you have to jam the guys, but you have to play them closer, because if you try to jam, you're
3 yards off them at least.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying, but jamming in particular, I know I used to be that guy like 2 seasons ago, like get hands on these guys, you know what I mean? But I also realize how that leaves you, like if you go to lean in and they get around that, you are getting toasted, especially against the guys we've gone up against these last couple of weeks. Julio Jones, Michael Thomas. These aren't guys that you want to try that with. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on the opponent and all that stuff. But you definitely, those cushions, Tony did talk on that, how we're playing back and it's easy because you're getting the ball out quickly and you're giving them some space.
Yeah, I know he did. I was just saying, like, I've been talking about that for 3 or 4 weeks now. Like, why are we playing so far back? Is it because we don't trust these receivers' speed? Or
if that's how they're coached,
you know what I mean? Or is that how they're coached? And it just seems that even on the opposite side of Julio this week, we were giving that cushion. It wasn't like it was just on the one side. So why are we doing that?
But the difference is, when in the last 3-4 weeks that we've been doing it, the pass rush has been getting home, minus the last 2 games. Well, 3 games.
Right.
So Green Bay, they were getting home. Arizona, they were getting home. And, again, injuries, lack of depth, your starters playing more snaps. It all piles up into one.
The finishers are gone. The finishers aren't here, guys, and that's what it is.
The one finisher's here, but
he's tired. He's never played this many games this season in his entire career ever. He has never played this many games. He's never played this many snaps. Mm-hmm. This is all brand new for this guy. This kid is in the middle of a marathon, and he didn't know that. He didn't know it. He can't handle it.
You're right.
Especially by himself, without the rotation and all that stuff. He is in brand new territory for himself. We might not see many more big plays from him. He's going to be the guy that starts hot and then teeters off as the game goes on.
This game is going to be a true test to see if this defensive line could do it or if they can't do it. And if they show they can't do it, then there's a big problem. Then you're going to have to get solid involved, dialing up blitzes to create pressure. And then that's when another issue is going to happen, where your back end is going to be exposed.
But you don't do that. You don't do that without your guys in your secondary back.
No, you're 100% right. I agree.
I don't want to see him dialing up those blitzes without.
No, I'm saying playoff time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to dial up blitzes now and show your blitz packages. But, I mean, Salah's sent 5 guys numerous times where he sends either Greenlaw or Warner up the middle. And it has worked. They have gotten home. Warner has like 4 or 5 sacks, I think. But I don't know. It's just it's repetition, and it's all the same thing. The depleted depth on this defensive front, and because, like you said, it works with the back end. The back end works with the front end, so they're tied.
Yeah, but if you go back, like, this is where I'm confused. If you go back to the play that Julio scored on, right? And I know there was a pick.
Which one?
To win the game.
Okay.
To win the game, right? I know there was a pick, right? Yeah. But your corners were still 7 yards off the ball. Like, easily. Like, why in that situation are we not playing up at 3-4 yards and covering?
Listen, I know what you're saying. They should have been up on the line jamming him and did not give him a free release. They did it all game, and they exposed him all game. He ran slants, he ran comebacks, and they really exposed the defense that way. But I will say this. Jimmy Ward actually made a phenomenal play on that goal line. And unfortunately, in the NFL these days, you can't hit high.
Right.
If he would have hit him high, I promise you that wouldn't have been the touchdown.
Well,
No.
the corners are only 3 yards deep on this play. They're only 3 yards off the line of scrimmage here.
On the pick play, yeah, because they were stacked.
It's the 30.
The tight end was up, right? The tight end was up and he was off the line.
Yeah, he was off the line.
Yeah, they were stacked. So you couldn't really jam them, and that was the whole concept of the play.
Right.
So when the tight end released, he hit the front guy and it forced the other guy to come around, and then that's when Jimmy Ward came up.
I might be thinking about the first touchdown to Julio then.
I couldn't believe Jimmy Ward was even close to try to make a play on that, because that was not his side of the field. That wasn't his responsibility. Any of that.
You saw it. That's all film study. That's all film study. You saw the pick coming. You saw it,
and you heard Kyle Shanahan say too, like if if the second stack guy would have been not as deep as he was, they would have made that play. Like they read the play defensively, they read the play right. Jimmy Ward came up, made the initial hit. The second guy should have been hitting him, as well, being not as far back. You heard him say that the second guy was just a little too deep. So I don't know which play it was. It might have been Marcel Harris that was a little too deep on it, because I'm trying to remember that play. The tight end was up. So Nate says here,
Harris was taken out in the pick also. Harris was taken out with the pick, and so was
I gotta watch this play again.
I'm watching it now.
Aziz Al-Shaair was taken out in the pick too.
Aziz was on the field. I don't think he was on the field on that play because they were in nickel.
That's a linebacker, but I can't tell who that is.
Let me get to it. Hold on.
57, that's Greenlaw. Greenlaw,
that's who it was.
Harris were taken out in the pick play. And then Jimmy Ward came up from the other side and got him.
Did Julio motion in that?
So this is right at the snap when this play starts, and I can't remember. I don't remember if he motioned in that play, but I know he's off the line of scrimmage. They gave him cushion by design. It's a really good play by them, honestly. This is a really good play by them, man.
It's a play, yeah. It's a rub route, and they got away with a pick.
They got away with the illegal pick. My man was not running around. He threw his shoulder right into Greenlaw's chest and just drove him back. He threw his shoulder right into his chest.
Hold on, I'm gonna look at it right now.
If you mute it or turn your volume down, Tony. But yeah, so it was. I mean, shit happens, man. Like I said, and Nick, you said it also. Whether we stopped them there or not, the Niners didn't play like they deserved to win that game. And that's what was the most concerning thing. And that's what makes me excited going forward. I don't think we say that about another game for the rest of the season. I don't care if it's Super Bowl.
If we do say that anymore, we're in trouble.
But I don't see how it can happen. I don't see how it can happen now.
I'm trying to build the rest of this season off of what George Kittle said. We have to come out. Hopefully this lit a fire in our ass. And that's basically what he said, pretty much to the T. And if it didn't light a fire in their ass, we're in trouble, man. Because we can't just be like, this is why when I was talking about losing, you know what I mean? Where some games when you lose, instead of going in, undefeated or sitting players in week 16 or whatever it may be, you got right now, to me, the playoffs start right now.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I'm saying there's no way we do this again. If Shanahan is thinking the right way, he can't do this again.
Right, he can't. And that's why I'm saying, like, we can't go into these next two games, let alone the playoffs, playing the way that we just played.
Julio, it doesn't show you on the highlight, but Julio, let me see. It looked like he did motion because he actually wasn't even fully set at the snap. I gotta be honest with you. And it was definitely a pick route. Like as Mike said, the friggin' tight end it was like a run block down the field. But I mean, listen, it is what it is. It's over. It's past us. That's it. But I will say this, and I will stand firm with this. Watching this over and over, if it wasn't for the NFL changing these rules and player safety, and he would have hit him up high, not to the head. I'm not saying to the head.
Yeah,
but
just
if this shoulder would have blew him right in the back, that was not a touchdown. There's no way in hell, because Jimmy Ward came in with full head of steam.
He only broke the plane by the bend over, like as soon as he got hit. Like
exactly.
Low.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying if he would have came high, he never would have been able to bend.
Yep. I agree. Hey, listen, I keep seeing people talk about, oh, you guys keep thinking we're going to win your jinxes. Don't watch our show. Don't watch our show. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, we're going to lose, oh, we're scared. If I'm confident in the game that's coming up, I'm going to tell you guys I feel confident in the game.
I thought you were saying don't jinx us because of the fact that.
No. I've been seeing, oh, you guys need to stop saying that we're going to blow people out. Or you got to stop saying we're going to win every game. If you think that's a jinx, don't watch this channel. Unsubscribe now. It's no hard feelings, but it's not.
I haven't even said if we'll win or lose right now because I'm still up in the air right now with this week.
Oh no, but we do it. We do it right before every game. We talk about the final score predictions and all that stuff. We do the over-unders, and you guys think we're going to blow over. Hey, look, if you think that's a jinx, don't watch the show. That's it. That's it.
Unsubscribe.
I'm not going to sit here and cater to all these people that think that we say something and it's a jinx. I don't know what your superstitions are. My superstitions are eat wings on Sunday or whatever game day is and wear a T-shirt, not a jersey. You see, I'm wearing a jersey now, right? That's my superstition. I don't care what yours are. If you don't like it, you don't like what we're doing, you can't watch. I'm sorry. That's all. Thank you for what you've done, though. I appreciate it.
Oh, my goodness. So George said, George, thanks, man. Appreciate you again. The players will bring the effort they always do, but damn, Kyle can't keep letting these games come down to the wire with his calls.
The Niners can't win close games. That's what they're going to tell us. That's what we're going to. But listen, we win close games as long as the offense has the ball last. We should have beat Seattle. The offense had the ball last, right? That's on the kicker. That's the only time that the defense had the chance and successfully stopped the opposing offense from marching down the field and getting the winner on us. That's the only time it happened, was in that overtime against Seattle. And then we got the ball back. We marched down the field, and then boom, he missed the kick. They got it back again. And you can't let good quarterbacks hang around too long. Same thing that we saw with this game right here, right? With this Falcons game. We let them hang around just a little bit too long. The defense couldn't hold up anymore, and they broke. They bent, and they bent, and they bent, and finally, just a little bit right there. Right there. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So
this is why I love our subscribers or fans or friends, whatever you want to call you, foes, whatever you want to call yourselves.
The defense does have to take it up another notch. The game is on the line. I would like to see, like I said, other than that Seattle game, if the game is on the line and it's a defensive drive, they don't get the stop for us. They don't. They haven't done it. I'm not saying that they can't. I'm saying they haven't. But again, we are without our closers right now. We had the closers in that Seattle game, and they came through for us. They came through for us, and that was without George Kittle. It's a completely different ball game then. Completely different.
I mean, they didn't really come through for us though in that game.
What? You can't blame the defense for that loss, bro.
Bro, we had 3 opportunities to win offensively, and we couldn't do it. And then the defense couldn't stop Russell Wilson the 3 times we gave him in overtime.
Yeah, but Jimmy's fumbles put them in horrible position. And interception.
You just said we had 3 offensive opportunities to win that game.
No, I said we had offensive opportunities to win that game, and the defense had 3 times to stop Russell Wilson.
They stopped them 2 times in overtime.
Yeah, and then they didn't stop him the 3rd time. But I'm just saying, we didn't get
out. You don't mean that. Get out of here, man. You're just stirring shit now. I'm sitting here like, what? There's no way. They stopped them and in good distance. We in field goal range, and the guy just missed it. That's not on the defense. No way.
Come on.
No way.
Look, never mind. I'm not even going to say what I was just going to say. It had nothing to do with you. It's something else. Oh. Symmetry 7 says, who's your playoff X Factor player?
I'm going to go with Quan Williams. K'Wan Williams. Yeah, he's going to be my X Factor guy because he plays a large role in the blitz game, plays a large role in the run game, and the slot. I mean, obviously, because that's where he's at. But that guy is he's more important to this defense than I honestly would like to admit. I wish that we put Ward down there because I think Ward can give us that. But that play that was a failed attempt on Julio, that last play, shows you why they keep Ward back there as the eraser, because he diagnosed that play very well and did everything he could legally. So,
you know what's funny? Because K'Wan Williams was out, and you said that a big thing that is a big part of his game is blitz packages and blitzing. You could tell when we were sending a corner blitz with the rookies out there, to where K'Wan Williams disguises it really, really well and doesn't come until he has to, where other guys are showing, and that's the veteran compared to a rookie type of play. You know what I mean?
And sometimes I don't know it all the time, but I do know that sometimes they show blitz on purpose. It's like a disguise type of thing, or to make them shift their coverages, and hopefully they can bring it from somewhere else and all that. So I don't know. I have to go back and watch and see how it was. I'll be honest with you guys. I've only watched this Falcons game one more time. That's not like me. I usually watch the losses more than I watch the wins. And I haven't watched this game that many more times. I'll try to watch it again. Maybe we'll bring another show tomorrow. I got some construction going on here. I know someone fixed their closet. Well, after tomorrow, there won't be any more holes there in my house. So the holes are getting repaired. The holes are getting repaired and patched up tomorrow.
Who's doing it?
Me and my father-in-law. He's got my well, I don't know if it's any good anymore, but the spackle. He said he left it here, but I don't know. I think he has it at his house, but I got the sheetrock and everything, and we're gonna get to work on that tomorrow. I took the day off, so I have my kids here work on the walls.
I took the day off tomorrow too. Tony, who's your X factor in the playoffs?
Can I give two? One offense, one defense, or just one?
Well, just go defense right now, because Mike gave a defense, then we'll go through offense too.
Don't you say you're Solomon Thomas?
No. No. You could be on the friggin' inactive list. I'm gonna say, damn, this is close. I'm gonna go with Fred Warner. I'm gonna go with Fred Warner because I think I like the guy. I'm sorry, and I know. I mean, I just it was between him or Defoe.
Bro, I love me some Fred Warner. I said something in the group chat, and I thought I was gonna get roasted. Nobody commented on it. I think Fred Warner is playing like one of the best linebackers in the NFL. I think he's playing better than Bobby Wagner. I like Fred Warner, bro, a lot.
I like Fred Warner too, but I still think he has a lot of room to grow. We already talked about that. I'm not going to get on that subject tonight, but
that boy is balling, Nick. You gotta.
He is, but he still misses a ton of tackles too.
He is a true field general, Nick. He's like leading the league in tackles, isn't he?
Yeah, but he also has a ton of missed tackles. You didn't see him miss any of those tackles in this Atlanta game?
I'm just saying, it's too many opportunities.
In crucial situations, that's what pisses me off. Like, I don't care. Make a ton of tackles, man. Like, make those ton of tackles. But when you need to make the tackle, don't over pursue a lot and then arm tackle and just slide off dudes. Like, that shit aggravates me. You're not playing like the best linebacker in the league if you're missing arm tackles.
Everybody misses tackles. You want like such perfection from Fred Warner. I don't get it. I don't want
perfection.
You're saying it like he misses 40 tackles a game. He doesn't.
But that's the thing. I'm not going to be a homer. Like, he can get so much better. Like, he's not a top 5.
Everybody. Luke Kuechly can get better.
Huh?
Luke Kuechly can get better. Bobby Wagner can get better. They both miss tackles.
I don't know if Bobby Wagner can get any better because he's old.
But I'm talking about performance-wise. Like, he doesn't make every tackle. I haven't looked it up yet. I'm willing to bet you that Fred Warner has missed less tackles than Kuechly and Wagner. I'll look it up now. I don't know if that's a track stat.
I don't think that's true, though.
Let's see. I want to look it up. But you can go ahead. I want to know who your X factor is. Tony, you said Fred Warner or who?
He said Fred Warner.
Or Defoe.
Or Defoe?
Or Defoe. I'm going with D Ford, man. I think D Ford's going to be X factor in the playoffs. Hopefully he's back and healthy.
You cheated. That's a good one.
Why did I cheat?
Because he's not active right now. I wasn't thinking about.
But we're not talking about right now. We're talking about playoffs.
No, I know. I didn't think like that though. You cheated. That's a really good answer. You cheated. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with D Ford. I think he just boosts that energy level on that whole defensive line. If he can stay healthy. And then, dude, I can't wait till this guy has his surgery and comes back 100% healthy next year. I really can't, because he's obviously going to play more next year than he is this year. So I'm going to go D Ford. All right, we'll go Tony real quick for offense.
Debo. I think teams are going to try to take Kittle out. They're going to try to take Emmanuel Sanders out. I think Debo's going to be open. Work in the middle of that field.
That's a really good answer.
Mike, who are you going for?
Offensive X factor. Not so much
Kendrick Bourne.
The X factor. No, you're right. That's exactly who it is. It's Kendrick Bourne. It is Kendrick Bourne. Yep.
Kendrick Bourne, huh?
No, I'm going to take that back. I want to take it back. I'm going to make it a lineman. I'm going to say Mike McGlinchey.
An X factor, huh? On the line?
Yeah. He gets blown up. All plays are going all. It's not good. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Mike McGlinchey.
Oh, man. Who am I going to go with here? I want to say this one guy, but I just don't think he can do it. I'm going to go with Raheem Mostert. I was going to say Tevin Coleman, but I'm going to go with Mostert.
Now you know that Tevin Coleman's not a better running back than him. Good job. Nick has come around. I like this. I like what I'm hearing here.
Yeah, I'm going with Mostert.
I like that. Do you think that Breida bounces back and can contribute regularly in the postseason?
I do. Definitely.
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Do you think that Breida bounces back and contributes regularly?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think so. I think he's just – I think his – I'll tell you what. I think he has more of a veteran mindset than what he really is. I think he does. Like, I think he – you've seen Mostert too. Mostert has Mostert has really come along because he's basically, one of those guys that, was fumbling a lot when he first started, and he's really cleaned that up. And, some of the things that he's doing offensively as well as special teams wise, I think that since he's been playing more offensively, he's slacking a little bit in special teams, but he's still doing his part. So I can't really say anything, but I'm definitely going to go. I'm going to definitely stay with Mostert.
I am still trying to find this missed tackle stat.
Symmetry 7 just said, in order for Mostert to be an X factor, Breida will need to bounce back, and I agree with that. I think the running backs have to all bounce back pretty much, mainly Breida, to allow Mostert to have a bigger game, because Mostert, you can see when one back's not doing, when it's only one back really doing things, our run game's really not consistent. When you get more than one guy, it starts to pile on because you're not sure who to take there. But nobody went with Robbie Gould, huh? Nobody went with Robbie Gould.
It's like you want the people to hate me.
No, I'm just saying, because playoffs are a lot of games that come down to field goals, man. That's why I was just saying, like, do we not have that much confidence in Robbie Gould?
I pray it doesn't come down to a kick.
I know, man.
Really
that extra point was crazy.
I don't know if the extra point played a factor in the.
I don't think it did.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh,
but,
Debs, your girl, your homie Debs 99772 says, I mentioned him, Nick. LOL. I said to choose him.
Oh, Robbie Gould?
Yeah. Ray says no confidence in the holdout.
By player. Here we go. Search for by player. I don't want to search. I want all players.
And don't try to tell me that he only has like 5 missed tackles this year.
Well, what's annoying me, that's already what's annoying me, is that I have to go by PFF. And I know they track shit so
way different, dude.
but I can't find it. I'm looking online. I don't see.
What's Tevin Coleman need? Like 50 yards to have all 3 running backs over 500 yards this year? Or did he already make it? Did they already have over 500 yards?
Tevin Coleman?
Yeah, all 3 running backs.
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up right now. I think he's either really close or.
All right. So according to PFF, Fred Warner is second for missed tackles in the run game, and he is. What number is this? Tied for 5th. This is missed, right? What's MIS? That's missed, I'm assuming. And he is tied for 5th for missed tackles in the passing game. Passing game, run game. Yes. Now, let's see if I can find.
Tevin Coleman has exactly 500 yards. So all 3 of our running backs have 500 yards or more this year.
Where's Wagner?
Rebecca says, all you better be coming Saturday. Nick, bring your mom. Beads and booty tickles. That's our hashtag from New Orleans. That's funny.
Disturbing.
That's all we said all week, people. Rebecca, I got a video of Rebecca just like, hashtag beads and booty tickles with this feather. It was so funny. I guess
Wagner has 5 missed tackles in the passing game and 2 in the run game.
Who's that?
Bobby Wagner and Luke Kuechly.
So
hey, Rebecca, I sent the message in the chat or on the Facebook group. I don't know if she saw it or not, but my wife and children won't be there. It'll be just me. She's stuck with me. So she's got to deal with just me, Crazy Mike. The whole gang won't make it. I can't pull up everybody. I can't, for whatever reason, it's not letting me pull up. I can't. Oh, his name is Luke Kuechly. I can't find it. It's not giving it to me. I can't, for whatever reason, I can't go down far enough on this page. It's ridiculous. I hate PFF. All right, whatever. He's got more missed tackles according to them. And he's still the man.
Tevin Coleman's still the leading running back receiver, though. Didn't realize that. You got guys that are just like Matt Breida is 80 yards off 200. Raheem Mostert has 164. Marquise Goodwin ended the season with 186. Wow.
Oh.
So, who had more?
Who had more what?
Wagner.
I found Luke Kuechly. Hold on. All right. So Luke Kuechly has 2 missed tackles in the run game and 3. All right. So according to PFF, Fred Warner has more missed tackles than both of them. Combined, actually. You can combine them, and he's got more missed tackles than them. I don't understand this chart. They're so smart that it's stupid. Snaps. Fred Warner. Snaps. 789. Bobby Wagner. Luke Kuechly. This can't be right. Is this from this year? This is saying that Bobby Wagner and Luke Kuechly has taken 902 snaps. Bobby Wagner has taken 883 snaps. And Fred Warner's only taken 789. Is our defense that much better than theirs? That they're getting off the field that quick?
Well, we were leading the league. We're in 3 and outs.
Holy smokes.
So 100 and some odd snaps less and doubled their missed tackles.
According
to PFF, yeah. But I'm saying I see a lot. Like more than people would probably count in a game. But like I said, it's not just a knock on Fred Warner. It's just something that I see that he can really get better at and make this defense that much more elite. I can't put him yet as a top 10 linebacker in this league yet. Though.
Isn't Fred Warner already over 100 tackles?
Yeah.
This is wrong. This chart, okay. They're saying that he has 79 tackles on the year. I hate them. All right. I hate that website so much. So much. All right. I'm done. I got nothing else for you guys tonight. You guys have sucked the life out of me.
No, you sucked the life out of yourself and your drywall.
Freaking PFF. How do they All right, guys. Thank you guys for checking us out here tonight, man. I had a lot of fun on the show. I'm just gonna keep this thing moving. I'm gonna try to do another show tomorrow. Hopefully, we can get some guys on here. There were more people that wanted to join. I promise you guys. Dylan said he wanted to come on. Anthony said he wanted to come on.
I don't trust any of them anymore.
Wayne said he wanted to join and everything. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot of people that said they were going to come in. I'm not sure what happened. So maybe they'll have more luck tomorrow. Maybe we can bring one late in the evening. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. Maybe I'll go for a walk and have a cigar while we're on or something. But this has been a lot of fun, man. I appreciate you guys for checking us out. Staying with us.
Shopping tomorrow with no money, but that should be fun.
What'd you say?
I said I got to go do Christmas shopping tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to do that with no money, but.
You got to smile.
Yeah. But
it says Fred Warner has 104 tackles here.
Yeah, that's about right. With the assist, right?
It says assists of 25. Oh, combined 104.
Yeah. That's what it should be, I think. He has a combined.
And 79 total solo tackles. Okay. So maybe that's what – I said 79, they said, right?
Yeah, 79, and then – what'd you say, 25?
Yeah, that's right. All right, never mind. All right, PFF, my bad. My bad, guys. Y'all still suck.
We got to get one of them on here. We got to bring them.
I'm not doing that show.
I'll do it because I really want to find out how this shit's done and calculated.
They can't tell you how they calculate stuff.
I know they can't. They can probably kind of give me like a roundabout way. Like, you know, you sit your ass down in this chair and that's how you kind of sit type thing. Like, yeah. Because I need like just a little bit of backstory of how they do this. Like, do they just throw darts at a wall? And like,
bro, that's like asking someone to explain Mandarin to you and not teach it to you. It's not gonna do you any good when you walk away. It's a different language. That's it. That's it. It's insane. But all right, guys. Seriously, thank you guys for checking us out here, man. We're gonna run through these little credits really quick, guys. Make sure thank you for checking us out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, all right? So you guys know exactly when we're going live. You guys always know that this is the place to be, right here on the YouTube page, your one-stop shop for all of our fun here on video, okay? Guys, make sure you hit us up on our social media platforms, Twitter and Snapchat. Those handles are nothing but 9ERS, so make sure you give us follows over there. Facebook and Instagram have nothing but Niners spelled out with spaces in between. The website is www.nothingbutniners.com. And the email address, guys, is nb9ers@nothingbutniners.com. All right. And it's for the whole crew here. Oh, yeah, we have a podcast apparently too. SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play, all that good stuff. iTunes. It's everywhere that you listen to your SoundCloud podcast. We are there. Okay. I am 49ers Mike _NFL. The man in the middle is Nick. He is 49er Faithful 365. And the guy on the end over there looking all comfy in that hoodie, he is Tony, NJ Niner fan 499. We want to thank you guys for checking us out here. I'm ready to get up out of here. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful.